Welcome to another episode of the Shadûf podcast. I'm Dustin Harding, head of research at the Shadûf Institute, and this is my partner in crime, Weston Smith.
How's it going?
So today I want to start this podcast by asking you a question, Weston.
Okay.
Have you ever purchased a product? And
Yes.
Then yes.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Lots of products.
Good. And have you ever purchased one in particular that you ended up not really using? Like you thought you were going to use it and you purchased it and for whatever reason it just kind of sat in the corner.
Yes, absolutely. Several times over.
Does one come to mind?
Let's see. Some microphones.
Microphones?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
For me, it was a guitar.
Okay.
I remember one time just my wife and I one day were like, hey, let's... I need a hobby. Maybe I should just go get a guitar. And so I got a guitar, tried playing for a little while, and then it just kind of sat in the closet until I sold it at a yard sale.
Yeah. So are you going to tell us why that happens?
I think. So this happens actually pretty frequently in the product world, and especially for something like a guitar. Some microphones I could see this as well. But my issue with the guitar was that I needed to actually gain a skill before I would actually be able to enjoy the guitar experience. Right. And for me, it was just getting very difficult to get to that point where I could enjoy the guitar. A lot of learning involved, right? And especially for these type of products, these are called skill-based products. Companies have an issue where, one, it's hard to get customers to purchase the product, but even if they do, they may not really utilize that product very much, so they never return. They don't get similar products, or So it's an issue. And so today, what I wanted to talk about is some research that I've done that looks at how renting versus purchasing these products impacts the actual likelihood that you'll utilize the product and that you'll learn to use it.
Okay.
So one thing, if you really want somebody to use one of these products, a big thing that you can do is build their confidence. Their confidence that they'll actually get to that point that they can enjoy using the product.
That they can use it. So, and that's interesting. So with my microphone, it wasn't necessarily the microphone itself that was difficult to use, but it was the technique that I was trying to do. It was still a skill-based thing, and how to use and because I didn't develop that skill, I didn't do it. I just thought, I'll get around to it sometime. So then I never utilized the microphone because I didn't develop the skills around it that I needed.
Yeah. I think that happens to all of us all the time. And so the trick for a company is to boost that customer's confidence levels.
Okay.
So the question that I came across, actually when I started this, I thought, well, what would be a confidence booster? Renting or purchasing the product? And I thought initially purchasing is going to do that. You look at a lot of research, most people, we even ran surveys, and the vast majority of individuals believed that owning that product is going to boost your confidence, that you'll actually be able to learn it and enjoy it.
Right.
But it turns out, time and time again, we ran several studies, it's the opposite. So you take, for instance, podcasts, you won't be able to see this if you're listening to this, but
so I've got a kind of a Rubik's Cube here.
It's kind of a Rubik's Cube. It's a mirror cube. It's like, instead of coordinating things by color, organizing by color, you organize by shape. So each square is a different shape, and so when it's unorganized
blocks.
Yeah, when it's unsolved, it's just like a mess. It doesn't even look like a cube, and you solve it by turning it back into a cube. So, for instance, we ran a study where we had students. I purchased a bunch of these.
Okay.
And we gave them to the students, and unbeknownst to them, half of them we said, hey, this is your cube to rent. And the other half we said, this is your cube to purchase. And we measured their confidence levels and things like that. And so this is just one example of many different examples where the renters had more confidence.
Really?
And so then the question came, why?
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I initially had a lot of different ideas of why. Okay, well, you have this product for a shorter amount of time. Okay. Like it's you've devoted less money into that, and none of these things actually explained the reason. We ruled all of these things out.
So you did tests. You tested each one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, the cool thing with research, with psychological research in particular, is that you can actually measure different things, and you can run statistical tests to see if this additional measure that you captured actually explains the effect, explains what's going on.
Right.
And so it took several tests, a lot of digging, and we eventually found out. And pretty much what it comes down to is social comparison.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Social comparison.
Yeah. So what happens is it all has to do with how confident you feel you are compared to whoever it is that you're comparing yourself to. So if I asked you, what's something that, let's see, say basketball.
Okay.
If I asked,
not good at basketball.
You're not good at basketball.
No.
Okay. Is there something you're somewhat confident in?
Somewhat confident. No, Dustin. Actually, I don't have any skills. That's a little something about me that you might not know.
What's something that you'd feel somewhat confident in?
Somewhat confident with would be juggling. I don't know.
Juggling, yeah, juggling.
I can juggle a little bit. Just so you guys know, I can juggle, but I can't. I can't like sit there for 5 minutes doing.
Yeah. So juggling, that's a cool skill.
Yeah, it's way cool.
So.
That's what everyone tells me, at least.
You go with that. We'll go with that. So if you were in a room with average people, and I asked you how skilled you were at juggling, you'd probably say you're pretty decent, right?
Pretty decent, yeah.
Then if we take that and I ask you, you're in a room now with professional jugglers, and I ask you, how good are you at juggling?
Oh, I'm not good at all.
Yeah, so you're going to be basing your own skill level on relative to whoever you can first think of.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the same thing happens with products. So once I own a product, I start comparing my abilities to other product owners.
Owners, yeah.
And I think, wow, these owners, like for instance with me, the guitar, man, these guitarists that own these guitars, they're highly skilled. Wow. And me compared to them, I'm nothing.
Yeah.
And so that demotivates me. And definitely it hurts your confidence like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Renters, they go through a different kind of
mental process.
Yeah, different mental process. I mean, if you're a renter, you're comparing yourself to other renters.
Okay.
And we all think other renters stink. They're all newbies, right?
Right.
And so we think, okay, well, compared to these renters, I'm actually half decent, right?
Yeah.
And so that initial confidence boost does quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And we even, this was interesting, we even went to a music store and we gathered all their data. And we looked at the renters of music instruments versus the purchasers of music instruments. And renters, I mean, they were upgrading. You could both like upgrade purchasers and renters for pretty much the same price.
Okay.
And renters were more likely to upgrade. They're more likely to continuously buy accessories.
Really,
they were a lot more active than the purchasers. And it's just really cool to see this effect.
That's so crazy because several times I've thought like, oh, I'm going to commit myself. I'm going to make myself like learn this, learn how to do this. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm committed to it, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
But you're saying if you rent it, the social pressure is off, and you're you're like, oh man, I can do that. I'm renting this, so it doesn't matter. That's so interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, so you can take this from the consumer mindset. If you're a consumer, you're learning to use a new product. We'd suggest rent it first.
Sure.
And it does exactly what you said. From a company standpoint, from an organization, if you have a product, especially one that is skill based, like these other products we've mentioned, then you should actually try to get your consumers, your newbies, to start with renting.
Start with renting.
And that could help them become a better lifelong customer for that company.
That's great. So in summary, renting as a consumer, if you want to learn something, renting is probably the way to go. If you're for business people, trying to find a way to get people to use their products before they purchase them.
Yeah. Try to either rent, or there's non-purchase options that companies often have, like a trial version or things like that.
Right.
Anything just keep them from comparing themselves to owners. Can really help.
Professionals. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we figured out how this research can apply. It has business applications.
Yep.
This is the kind of cool research that our man Dustin that he does. If you guys have any questions about this research, let us know.
Yeah, if you have any questions, email us at info@shadûf.org.
Info@shadûf.org. That's info@shaduf.com. .org.
Perfect.
That's SHD.
Info.
I'm gonna get this. That's info@Shadûf SHADUF.org.
Yes.
And let us know.
Email us. Follow us on our social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Happy to see you there.
Thanks for joining us.